Another video with some new stories. Firstly, we have a new story about Eritrean mediation in Sudan. We know that last week an Eritrean delegation visited Sudan twice. After that, we saw some claims that Eritrea was working as a proxy of the Middle Eastern countries, and the mediation effort being seen by Eritrea in Sudan was at the request and at the backing of Middle Eastern countries. Now, Eritrea has officially responded to these allegations that Eritrea is working as a proxy of Middle Eastern countries regarding its mediation efforts in Sudan. Secondly, we have a new story from Gondar viewers. Gondar City Islamic Affairs Supreme Council has released a very detailed statement. This Muslim organization is leveling some serious allegations. The organization is accusing government officials of trying to cover up the massacre which happened last week. And thirdly, Ethiopian government officials have been saying that trucks are entering Tigray carrying aid, but the same number of trucks are not returning from Tigray. And we have been seeing these accusations since last year. Last year, we saw similar accusations that hundreds of trucks, WFP trucks, entered Tigray, but they did not return, and the trucks were used by Tigray authorities for military purposes. Now, World Food Program has released a statement about the trucks returning from Tigray. The statement is about April. How many aid trucks entered Tigray in April? How many returned from Tigray? Firstly, viewers, we know that around a week ago, a top Eritrean delegation visited Sudan. Usman Saleh, Eritrean foreign minister, and Yemane Gabriab, Eritrean special advisor to Isaias Afwerki, Eritrean ruler, visited Sudan twice. A special message from Isaias Afwerki, Eritrean ruler, was delivered to Sudanese Army Chief Abdul Fattah al-Burhan. The delegation held meetings with Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo as well, who is vice chairman of Sudan's Sovereignty Council, head of Sudanese notorious Janjaweed militias, Janjaweed militia. After this visit of Eritrean delegation, some claims were shared by some analysts that Middle Eastern countries were involved in the mediation efforts in Sudan through Eritrea. That Eritrea was working as a proxy for Middle Eastern mediation efforts in Sudan. Now, Eritrea has officially denied these allegations. Yemane Gebremeskel, Eritrean Information Minister, says that Eritrea never undertakes diplomatic tasks of other countries. Eritrean foreign policy is independent. So, Eritrea is not intervening diplomatically in Sudan at the request or with the backing of any Middle Eastern countries. Secondly, he says that it's not the first time that Eritrea and Sudan have been diplomatically engaged. Both sides have been holding meetings in the past as well on the issues of mutual concern. We do know that Middle Eastern countries have their penetration, their involvement in Sudan. They've been trying to find solution as well in Sudan, but Eritrea denies to be part of any such solution. Eritrea says that its mediation efforts are independent and they have nothing to do with other mediation efforts being seen from Middle Eastern countries and from UN transition mission in Sudan. In Sudan, situation is not improving there. Political situation, security situation in Darfur, we know that last week around 200 persons were killed in clashes between Arab and Massacre tribes. Al Janina hospital in Darfur was flooded with patients, injured, wounded persons due to the conflict in Darfur. Political conflict, protests, security problem in Darfur, everything is adding up to the crisis in Sudan, and so far no solution. Eritrea is mediating, but no signs of any progress is seen so far. Secondly, our second news story is from Gondar. Gondar Islamic Affairs Supreme Council has released a statement. This Muslim organization has leveled some allegations against Gondar city government. What is this body saying? Firstly, the statement says that the violence against Muslims in Gondar started on a Tuesday, but it went on for around 3 days. So the clashes, the killings, they went on for 3 days. Muslims were killed, their properties were looted, set on fire, and dozens of women were raped. Now, quote unquote, dozens of women were raped in Gondar. Secondly, the statement accuses local government officials that they are involved in covering up the incident. Evidence is being tampered with. Evidence is being destroyed of the atrocities committed against Muslim community, and that some men in high positions are backing some groups which were involved in violence against Muslims in Gondar. The body further says that it should be made part of the investigations, part of the crime scene inspections, because the body wants to ensure that no evidence is destroyed deliberately to cover up this incident. And lastly, Gondar Islamic Affairs Supreme Council says that Muslims are being arrested arbitrarily, and dozens of them, rather hundreds of them, took refuge in mosques when the violence broke out. How many have returned to their homes, it's not clear. So the government must ensure that Muslims are secure, and security must be ensured for the protection of Muslims in Gondar. The statement indicates the situation is far from being totally peaceful in Gondar. Now, when this organization is accusing local government officials of trying to cover up the massacre by destroying, by tampering with the evidence, what will regional and federal governments and regional federal forces do? Will they try to take Muslims on board? Will they try to pacify the Muslim community? Will they try to dispel the doubts cast by Muslim community? I already said yesterday that arrests are underway, but no statement is being released about the names, identities of the arrested persons. That will lead to further tension. That is what we are seeing now, that this body says that large number of Muslims has been arrested and they must be immediately released because they have no role in the conflict which happened last week. So tension still there, viewers. An atmosphere of mistrust is there between Muslim community and government officials and other religious groups in Gondar. Lastly, viewers, Ethiopian government officials just 2 days ago accused that Aid trucks were entering Tigray, but they were not returning from Tigray. We have been hearing similar allegations in the past as well, that hundreds of aid trucks, WFP trucks, entered Tigray. They did not return, and Tigray allegedly used the trucks for military purposes. Now, World Food Programme just 2 hours ago spoke about how many trucks have entered Tigray in April and how many have returned. World Food Programme says that in April alone, 170 trucks carrying aid, World Food Programme trucks, entered Tigray. Out of 170, 158 have returned. So it means there is no problem regarding returning of trucks. It means trucks are returning. It has been confirmed by World Food Programme. And secondly, 27 more WFP trucks arrived in Mekelle today. I mean 1st of May. Earlier on the 1st of May, 20 ICRC trucks also arrived in Mekelle. In the previous video, I covered that. So, in the past 24 hours, around 20 ICRC trucks and 27 World Food Programme trucks carrying aid have entered Mekelle, Tigray. Very encouraging development, viewers. And World Food Programme says that the authorities, the parties should build on this momentum, and this momentum must continue. So, overall encouraging developments, and WFP has confirmed that trucks are returning from Tigray. Thank you for watching.